Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks, Spring. And our top citizens receive recognition.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A large snowstorm that brought over 10 inches of snow to the Oxford area caused over 1,000 homes to lose their power. Because of heavy snow on power lines, a number of lines went down during the storm. Good news is there were no major injuries or deaths reported in Oxford or Addison townships. Crews from both Oxford's Department of Public Works, DPW, and Oakland County's snow removal were well prepared for this year's major snowstorm.
Last Sunday, the American Legion Oxford Post 108 held an award banquet honoring numerous local police and firefighters. Awards were given to Outstanding Police Officer of the Year, Oxford's Village Police Sergeant Mike Sowald, and Oakland County Sheriff Deputy Jim Williard. Firefighter of the Year was Ben Horton.
As a prior recipient of this award in 2012, Sergeant Sowald has continued superior performance in all aspects of his duties. Sergeant Sowald exemplifies what it means to be a leader and is a role model to all.
Ben's responsibilities are jobs that he took on himself. They're not jobs that I assigned. He is not an officer in the department, but he has accepted these responsibilities and carried them out very well.
I've had the pleasure to work with Jim for over 27 years now in site corrections, outside of the road patrol. There's no one that brings his work ethic to the table on a day-to-day basis than he does.
Oxford Leader Editor C.J. Carnecchio was the recipient of a certification of appreciation in recognition of his long-term outstanding service in the community and for the American Legion.
CJ's always on the site taking pictures. Whether it's a traffic accident, kids at school, drug programs, he's always out there in the parades, he's running up and down the street. On behalf of the American Legion, all of us here at the Post and the families that we have under this roof, presented for your hard work, dedicated support and services to our community and devotion for veterans and all that we do and all that we represent. CJ, it's an honor for me on behalf of the Commander to present you this and on behalf of the Post. Thank you.
And happy birthday, CJ. And finally, special award was given to Sean Brown of the Oxford Police Department to acknowledge his quick response to an apartment fire at the Village Manor Apartments. Congratulations to everyone.
Thanks to the creative actions from Oxford Township Treasurer Joe Ferrari and Supervisor Bill Dunn, a 75-year-old lifetime resident of Oxford can continue living at her Davison Street home address. Bonnie Davis was concerned that she could not meet her increased property taxes. She asked Treasurer Joe Ferrari how she could pay when her monthly income was only $950. Ferrari told Bill Dunn, who called a representative for a program called Christmas in Action, a CIA. The organization is a group of volunteers who do free home repairs for financial strapped residents. However, an inspection of the home determined a new roof and other major home repairs were needed. So in this instance, the cost of the project proved to be prohibitive for the Christmas in Action group. Monies were previously committed to other projects. Treasurer Ferrari didn't give up there, though. He went after a community development block grant in the amount of $5,000. Ferrari also helped a woman file a hardship exemption to lower her property taxes for both the village and township. The woman has no children, no husband because he's deceased, and all siblings are gone. Joe Ferrari said she is a sweet little lady who has only her 2-year-old cat living with her.
Be aware that several guns were stolen from a Baldwin Road home this week. The homeowner reported a gun safe and a handgun in the dresser was stolen, along with 2 televisions, 3 computers, other electronics, and jewelry. Officers did not find any sign of forced entry, and because of the homeowner footprint traffic, no other evidence could be obtained. Several serial numbers of the gun and the electronics were entered into the police computer for future identification. If you know anything about these stolen guns, please contact the local sheriff department.
Be aware that there is a tool thief in the area. A man parked on South Washington Street told village officers tools were stolen from his truck by employees. The employees returned the tools and charges were not pressed by the victim.
Well, I guess that doesn't make them tool thieves then,
No,
I guess.
but if you
they
need tools, you
return
see them in the
but
back of the truck, you just go get them.
Geez, I guess so. Maybe they just forgot to tell him that they
Right.
were borrowing them, I guess.
What's this? I understand that you are a person who repairs satellite dishes now. Tell me the story there.
It was an adventure yesterday. So after my husband told me not to go up on the roof and try to get the snow off the dish, which I hate to admit that that's what we have, I read the text, but it was after I already went up there and actually fell off the ladder coming down. However, my little angel and a whole bunch of snow saved me because I fell into that snow, which went poof, and then I rolled around like a potato bug for 10 minutes trying to get my way out of that snowbank. But I did it. I got it done.
You know what? You're lucky that you didn't have those big birds in your neighborhood. Just swoop down, pick you up, and carry you away.
It's funny that you say that because as I'm rolling around on the ground, I actually saw a hawk flying over top of me. He was probably thinking, oh, there's dinner. It's a belly-up possum or something. But I shouldn't have done it. I had a long coat on. It was snowing and blowing. And, of course, I had ice on my boots, and it was a metal ladder. But I just was determined I wasn't going to let the dish beat me.
You know, folks, you should never do what Terry
Don't do this
did.
at home. I know that was. I was very safe. I was very lucky
Yes.
that I was safe. And there was a lot of snow. There was almost a foot of snow underneath me.
Well, we had about 15 inches, it seemed like, in my yard.
Gosh, I believe it. I believe it. I measured it, and it was 11 inches. But I know other people had it really bad. So.
Of course, I have a large snow blower that throws snow about 800 feet in the air over in my next door neighbor. Don't say that to the neighbor, by the way.
Elgin Nichols, that's your neighbor, throwing snow in the yard. Well, you know, there just wasn't any place to put it besides somebody's yard or more in your yard. It was really bad yesterday.
You probably don't want to do that either.
No, I know. I'm just digging myself in deeper and deeper. That's it for Oxford News this week. If you want to learn more about these stories and others, go to your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us right here at Charter Channel 191 and AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up next on OCTV is Oxford Sports with Jamie Hughes. And don't forget to catch Oxford School News with John Ochins. And Dave Kenny and Auto Talk and Science in the News.
I'm Terry Stiles, and you're watching Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors. And thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. Okay, you're on the space station. It's that bleeping again. Does it mean the airlock is broken, or is dinner ready? Fire, fire! Astronauts aboard the International Space Station may respond more quickly to human voice alerts than to other types of emergency sounds. The ISS crew are currently notified of dangerous events such as fires with specific sound tones. But in a high-stress situation, it can be difficult to remember what they mean, says Aniko Sandor at the NASA Johnson Space Center, or JSC, in Houston, Texas. To see if voice alerts could prove more useful, Sandor and her colleague Haifa Moses ran a laboratory study asking participants to listen to both tone and speech alerts and click an icon representing the particular hazard. They found that people responded some 300 milliseconds faster to a speech alert such as fire, fire. The pair also tested the different tones in a more realistic setting in the Human Exploration Research Analog at JSC, a modular habitat intended to simulate a space station or planetary base. 6 participants had to react to alerts while carrying out another task, then respond by following a series of instructions to solve the problem by retrieving code stashed somewhere in the habitat. One person reacted to both kinds of alerts in a similar time, but the other 5 were on average 5 seconds faster at reacting to speech alarms, suggesting that a voice alert system would improve safety on the ISS and other spacecraft. Sandor presented the results at a workshop on human space exploration in Galveston, Texas earlier this month. And on the edge of space, check out our new ride. On Friday, private spaceflight company Virgin Galactic unveiled a new version of Spaceship Two, the craft that it hopes to fly tourists into space without the safety issues that dogged its predecessor. Virgin Galactic has long aimed to be the first to fly paying passengers high enough to see the curvature of the Earth. But the company saw a setback in October of 2014 when an earlier model broke apart in midair during a rocket-powered test flight, killing one pilot and injuring another. The new spacecraft, named VSS Unity, was revealed at a ceremony at the company's manufacturing facility at Mojave Air and Spaceport in California. The event featured famous faces like actor Harrison Ford, soprano Sarah Brightman, and a 4-minute recorded message from physicist Stephen Hawking. VSS Unity is designed to carry 2 pilots and 6 passengers. Structurally, it's very similar to the first ill-fated Spaceship Two, but with several upgrades, including a new mechanism that prevents a pilot from rotating the craft's tail stabilizers too early, the error that caused the 2014 accident. Next up, VSS Unity will undergo ground and flight tests at Mojave and at the commercial spaceport Spacecraft America in New Mexico. A future version of Spacecraft Two is already under development. And on the medical front, it's welcome news. Vaccination against human papillomavirus has more than halved the number of HPV infections in the U.S., the leading cause of cervical cancer, despite its relatively low uptake in the country. The growing body of evidence that HPV vaccination works may convince many more countries to give the vaccine to teenage boys, as HPV also causes cancer of the mouth, throat, and anus, as well as genital warts. The vaccine, called Gardasil, was designed to prevent cervical cancer. It works against 4 strains of HPV, which cause almost all cases of this type of cancer. Almost everyone who has had sex without a condom will catch HPV at one point. The virus dwells in the moist mucosal tissues of the genitals and mouth and can be passed on via semen and vaginal fluids. Most people shake off the infection, but in some it lingers, causing cervical cancer after about 20 years. As large-scale vaccination only started a decade ago, it's too soon to see any fall in cervical cancer rates, although studies have shown that cases of genital warts, which occur within months of HPV infection, are already falling. For instance, in Australia, one of the first countries to introduce the vaccine, cases of genital warts have decreased by 61%. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back after this.
Oxford Orient Fish helps provide emergency aid to the people of Oxford, Ligorian, Addison, and Oakland Townships. One of the only self-serve food banks in the state, Oxford Orient Fish provides once-a-month food supplies based on the size of the family. To donate, volunteer, or to find out more, call Oxford Orient Fish at 248-628-3933 or go to their website, oxfordorientfish.org. Oxford Orient Fish, neighbors helping neighbors.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcat School Update. Lakeville Elementary experienced a soft lockdown last week. Reportedly, a dad tried to pick up his son from school and was turned down due to a custody rights issue. The man became argumentative, then left the building, got in his car, called the school, and argued some more. Oakland County sheriffs were called. By the time they arrived, the dad had returned home where they connected. He was given an appearance citation for disorderly conduct. We learned about this when I showed up there to learn about Lakeville's Blessings in a Backpack program. Cheryl Vanderbeek is the coordinator of the program, and we invited her over to the station to tell us about it.
It's a program that we started here in Oxford 4 years ago. We started doing some fundraising so that we could bring the program to the kids. What it is a program that we provide free meals to the children who are in need in the community. And we started at Lakeville Elementary, and then from there we went to Leonard Elementary, and this year we've been fortunate enough to have enough sponsorship in the community that we were able to expand to every elementary school in Oxford, as well as OELC, the preschool.
I asked Cheryl how many kids are involved.
As of this week, we have 95 children on the program throughout the community. and they're broken up into the different elementaries. Clear Lake, I believe, has 13, DA around 20, Lakeville 40 some children that are benefiting from the program. So it's touching a lot of families, and we're really thrilled to be a part of the community this way.
Now, if somebody watching would like to look into taking advantage of this, what should they do?
They can contact me. I am a parent at Lakeville Elementary, but we have sent out flyers to every student in the school district with information, a little flyer explaining what we provide, which is the 6 meals on the weekend, includes things like peanut butter, tuna fish, chicken, cereals, juices, things along that line. And it costs $100 per child to be on the program, but that's not something that, it doesn't cost the families anything. It's a free program to the children, but they would contact me on my cell phone is a great way, 248-909-5689.
The program continues until the end of the school year. It was paws versus claws time at the Oxford High School last week. Every year, the Oxford and Lake Orion Special Olympics basketball teams face off for a game in each other's courts. Julie Koster is our Special Olympics basketball coach. She tells us more about these games.
These games are great because they are giving opportunities to athletes who don't always have the same opportunities that other athletes have. And it gives them a great opportunity to work together on teams. A lot of these kids have never played on a sports team before, per se, and gives them the opportunity to do that. Special Olympics presents them with lots of opportunities to play in bigger venues and things like that. We're just super, super fortunate that we provide them with an opportunity here at Oxford, and that we partner up with Lake Orion and do the one here because it's just...
When I ask them what these games mean to them, teamwork seems to be the common answer. Did that surprise you?
Not at all. Not at all. Teamwork and they, these kids genuinely care about each other, and they're all in for each other.
Teacher Katie Getz is our leadership coordinator. She talks more about the significance of these games.
A couple things happens with this game. One, it brings our Lake Orion and Oxford communities together and allows us to not be rivals for once, to come together and band together as a community. The second outcome is to highlight these wonderful athletes. These guys have worked so hard to do, or to be on this basketball team that they've created, and their bowling teams and their swim teams, and we just wanted to be able to highlight them and allow them to shine just as other athletes are.
Lindsay Long is our Special Olympics coordinator.
It kind of leads us into the season. We have districts coming up, we have regionals, and if we win at regionals, we can go on to states. So this is like big pump up, pep rally to get these kids excited about the season, and it works.
How many kids do you have involved in this?
We have 13 on the roster right now, 12 on the roster, and 3 subs. So that's like what Special Olympics allows. For games like today, we saw Lake Orion have a big roster because anyone's welcome in Special Olympics.
And it's about more than basketball too, right?
It's about everything. It's about life in general. It's about acceptance. It's about treating each other fair and being able to share. It's about everything, life in general.
Our Oxford team won 29-26. Next game is in Lake Orion on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. The 2016 Winterfest was celebrated at Oxford High. Seniors Jared Diamond and Catrice Mull were elected king and queen, thanks to the Oxford leader for that photo. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
And back with you on Oxford News this week. It's time for Oxford Sports. The Oxford varsity boys basketball team put another win in their column last week after defeating Seaholm 58-43. Oxford was hoping to carry that excitement of the C-home game into Friday night's Winterfest game when they took on Stony Creek, but unfortunately the Cougars walked away with an 82-49 drubbing over the Wildcats. They actually left the Wildcats speechless. Maybe they're talking today, I'm not sure. Lady Wildcats 1-1 on the hardwood this past week. The girls faced Lapeer Lightning on February 16th, where they lost 40-32. The Lady Cats were able to bounce back after their overtime loss to take a 57-37 victory over Rochester Adams. The girls will host Troy High School on Thursday. That is an OAA crossover game. We will have the results on next week's broadcast. The Oxford Avondale United hockey team Fenton Linden, the contest, they beat them a 1-0 after a hard-fought game. That game, February 20th, that took place at the Troy Sports Arena. The team's record now, 6-15-3. OAU will play New Boston here on Saturday at 8 p.m. at the Troy Sports Arena. Again, we'll have the results next week. The Wildcat Grapplers didn't disappoint on February 17th as they brought home yet another District 1 regional championship, making it their 8th such title in 9 years. Oxford kicked the night off with a 48-21 victory over the co-league champion Clarkston. 5 Wildcats made it out of the February 20th individual regionals with a chance to make history at the Invitational State Tournament at the Palace of Auburn Hills. March 3rd and 5th, it needs to be noted, Oxford was probably the only school to do that, with the exception of maybe Davison. Oxford will head to the Rose Arena in Mount Pleasant coming up on Friday to compete in the team state quarterfinals. The coach very impressed with his young men. They take on Hudsonville. If Oxford beats Hudsonville, coach says they'll face the #1 seed, Heartland. The Oxford wrestling team doing very, very well. Keeping up the schedules of your local Oxford sports athlete, and they're always at your fingertips, the oxfordathletics.org. Check it out, oxfordathletics.org. One word, has your schedules, everything you need to know about Oxford sports. If you want to check our website out, it's there at your fingertips as well, occtv.org. You can catch any one of the programs that we tape here, whether it be a meeting, a show that you enjoy. You can catch it on YouTube or Peg Central. Catch it on your computer, iPad, or phone, wherever you choose to watch. Again, log on when you can, occtv.org, and catch all the programs there. I invite you on Saturday and Sundays between the hours of 1 and 6. That's when we broadcast our Oxford sports. Hopefully you'll tune in. Some great hoop action coming up this weekend. Again, check it out on the TV. If you don't catch it on television, occtv.org. That wraps it in Oxford Sports. We'll be back with more right after this. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, when the Cadillac CT6 sedan goes on sale in the United States in March, General Motors won't have to worry about regulatory blowback from one of its most eye-catching features, a rear-view mirror that doubles as an electronic rear-view display. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration gave a stamp of approval to the newfangled e-mirror, saying that it complies with federal vehicle standards. The e-mirror in the CT6, sold by Michigan-based Gentex Corporation under the brand name Full Display Mirror, switches between a digital screen and a traditional mirror with a press of a button. It's supposed to deliver a wider view of the road and also to flaunt the sophistication of the CT6, which is being pitched as a worthy rival to GM executive sedans such as the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. And over at Chrysler, when designing the interior of a new vehicle, stylists often focus on the driver's seat, the one spot where someone will always be sitting. But when the vehicle is a minivan such as the 2017 Chrysler Pacifica that arrives in dealerships this spring, the attention, that is on the second and third row seats. Indeed, the Pacifica's rear seating is more like a mobile living room than a traditional minivan. That's due to features such as a fully independent, high-definition infotainment system with integrated games, more luxurious and configurable seating, and even an onboard vacuum cleaner. The idea behind investing in the Pacifica's rear cabin is simple. If backseat passengers, read kids, are happy and occupied, there are a better chance of adults in the front seats will have a safe and enjoyable driving experience. On the Pacifica, FCA is rolling out another option, the Uconnect Theater, a new version of its Uconnect infotainment system. Supplied by Delphi Automotive, it features two independently operating high-definition flip-up 10.1-inch touchscreens, each embedded in the backrest of the front row seat. The two screens can show the same program via a built-in Blu-ray player in the front row instrument cluster, or can show separate programs using ESP or high-definition multimedia interface inputs on the seatbacks just below the screens. Two sets of wireless headphones are included in the Uconnect Theater system, as well as input jacks for wired headsets. Each screen contains a series of 8 familiar traveling games, including tic-tac-toe, backseat bingo, checkers, and a mat-based version of license plate bingo. The screens come with a remote control that has a gesture area, allowing users to control the touchscreen if, say, they are restricted by the 5-point harness of a child safety seat. A new app called Are We There Yet? Ties into the Pacifica's navigation system to provide location and time until arrival information to backseat passengers. With the high-definition inputs, the available 120-volt electrical outlets, and FCA's onboard wireless connectivity, backseat passengers can play gaming systems such as Microsoft's Xbox One, said Amir Ahmed, FCA's Uconnect marketing manager. Chrysler engineers also redesigned the Pacifica's stow-and-go seats, making them easier to stow and improving entry to the third row. The new stowing mechanism supplied by Magna uses a button in the interior B-pillar to automatically push forward the front row seat. That allows second row seat to collapse into the storage well with a gentle one-handed assist. The redesign also incorporates a pivoting mechanism that allows the second row seat to tilt forward for easier access to the third row, even if a child seat is attached. In the Pacifica's predecessor, the 2016 Chrysler Town & Country, moving into the third row would require removing a safety seat or climbing over it. Production of the 2017 Chrysler Pacifica is scheduled to begin at FCA's Windsor Assembly Plant this week. And our last story, Michigan and California, vying for control of our driverless future, are each proposing crumbling World War II military sites as ideal locations to test robot cars. Michigan's secret weapon? Better potholes. The Great Lakes state plans to make a test track out of the 330-acre industrial ghost town near Ypsilanti, where Rosie the Riveter built B-24 bombers during World War II. Backers contend that tough winters make the Willow Run factory site a better proxy for the imperfect world of driving than California's decommissioned Navy base in Concord. The states are competing for a chunk of almost $4 billion in federal funding that President Barack Obama last month proposed for development of self-driving cars. While Congress has yet to approve the funding, the dangled money sets up a test track showdown mirroring that is, the larger struggle between Detroit and Silicon Valley for control of the connected car. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.